TikTok. I hope you come back because I actually had a fair amount of people watching. That was pretty nice. But anyway, I'm very, very happy we're here. I was just telling TikTok that today, literally, like, rewards enabled on channel. What the hell does that mean? I was telling TikTok today has literally been rocking me. That's why I'm here, glasses on. I did brush my hair for you all. That really took a lot out of me. And I did unfortunately find 2 fake eyelashes in my hair. I'm not doing well. I'm not I'm not going to make any other statement other than that. I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well. How are you? How is everyone tonight? But anyway, I was also telling TikTok chat, and I'm a boomer. Kill me. I was also telling TikTok that, see, that is so weird. Why does it do that? Anyway, I was also telling TikTok that my school has a new principal, and so, like, we've had a very unsettled energy. We've had a very unsettled energy. I feel fine about the new principal. I don't feel fine generally speaking, but us getting a new principal is just one mere aspect of that, and really very low on the list. Not that it doesn't matter, but I'm new anyway, so it's like, oh, hello. Everyone's new, including me. So, like, I just feel less of a type of way than a lot of other people do. It's been a bad day. Today has been a bad day, and then I feel bad. My class was overstimulating me so bad, and I feel like I was kind of being rude to them today, but, they didn't do anything that bad, but they were just kind of being loud, and I was in a particularly bad place. So I'm not going to say they didn't do anything, because if any of y'all are here, it was loud. But, like, they're loud a lot, and sometimes I'm okay with it. So I really only have myself to blame at the end of the day. But yeah, today we're here to talk about the history of the United States Postal Service. This is one of the times that I'm going in, like, pretty fresh. My assistant made this one. Like, a lot of the streams I'm pretty heavy-handed in, and I do a lot of the research on. So, like, the Jane Fonda stream next week, I put a lot of research into that. I know a fair amount about her. I really, really like her. But the USPS stream, I really was just like, let's learn together. Let's learn together. And we are going to talk about the anthrax attacks. The anthrax attacks is one of my favorite streams I've ever done, and it came out of fucking nowhere. When I picked that, I picked it so randomly, and I did not think it was going to be, like, that groundbreaking, but it was so crazy. It was a while ago. That was one of my earlier ones. So, like, if you go back on my YouTube or just search for it, but that was such a good stream. That's the only thing I miss about my corporate job, is that I had enough time to do that at work. That is literally, and getting lunch all the time, but that made me broke. So I don't miss that in some senses, but, like, the food was good. But tonight, like I said, I'm going in pretty, fresh. Oh, so next week we're doing Jane Fonda. Clearly my brain is broken. Next week we're doing Jane Fonda, and then the next week it's election night. And I was like, oh, do I want to do, like, a live election watch? And I was like, that actually sounds fucking horrendous. Because we've been in a live election watch for months. So I'll watch it when it's done. Because I don't think they're going to have a winner that night. I just really don't. Like, I really just don't think they're going to have a winner that night. So I was like, what's the point of doing a live election watch if we don't even get to see the results of the election? And then I was like, and it feels like we're going to be so stressed out about that we're not going to be able to, like, engage in something, like, interesting, like tonight, USPS. So I picked the perfect fucking topic, you guys. I'm so excited. I picked Glee. We're gonna look at all of the fucking insane plot lines and the cringe that is Glee. Because I was like, that is all that we're going to have the mental capacity for. That's truly it. And I watched Glee seasons 1 and 2, so that's all I know. My cousin, she's so funny. She is obsessed with Glee, so she's making it. She's obsessed with Glee, but in the way that, like, not like she, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she thinks it's crazy. So, and I heard it gets so much weirder. So I literally, like, that is going to be, isn't it perfect? Isn't it just perfect? Absolutely. Absolutely. I know I said we were going to get started so many times and we still haven't, but here we are. So anyway, let's do USPS. My brain is broken. We're going to learn this together. So, founding, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 7 of the U.S. Constitution. This is also going to be kind of like idiot reveal because, like, I'm sure there's going to be stuff in this that I don't know that I should know. The Constitution is a document that I should have a better understanding of. And I think almost all Americans are in the same boat with me. So I'm not going to be embarrassed about it, even though I am embarrassed. This is me laying it out on the table for you. This is a safe space for people that are smart and do know things, but do not know as much about the Constitution as they should. I know some things about the Constitution. Do I know as much as I should? No, I should not. Or no, I do not. So anyway, this grants Congress the power to establish post offices and post roads, which has been interpreted as a de facto congressional monopoly over the delivery of first-class residential mail. Not the congressional monopoly. Interesting phrasing. Which has been defined as non-urgent residential letters, not packages. So I think people always forget that when our founding fathers designed this country, they were not designing what our country is today. They were not like, I wonder what life in 2024 is going to be like, and let's make laws for that. They were literally only operating within their own realm of reality of what they viewed the function of a good government should be. I'm not going to say they didn't ponder the future, but, like, they lived in a very different world from us. And every time I read part of the Constitution and it says something like post roads, I'm like, yeah, I guess you would be like, the government should have the right to build it. Like, to me, it's so obvious, but it was a different time. So, accordingly, no other system for delivering first-class residential mail, public or private, has been tolerated absent Congress's consent. I feel like this is, like, weirdly accusatory. Like, what did the post office fucking do to you? They're, like, being, like, I feel like, about it. The mission of the Postal Service is to provide the American public with trusted universal postal service. While not explicitly defined, their service obligation is broadly outlined in statute and includes multiple dimensions, geographic scope. I get it. I get it. Their status is unique. It's an independent agency of the executive branch, yet it's required to operate like a business. We set them up to fail. It generally does not receive tax revenue to support its operation, and it must compete for customers. The Postal Service retains the largest physical and logistical infrastructure of any non-military government institution, providing an indispensable foundation supporting an ever-changing and evolving nationwide communication network. That is kind of crazy that they have to operate like a business. They deliver more mail and packages than any other post in the world. They serve nearly 167 million addresses in this country, covering every state, city, and town. Everyone living in the United States and its territories has access to postal products and services and pays the same for first-class mail postage stamp regardless of location. That is what's crazy to me, is like you can literally send it anywhere, and it's like it's the stamp. You can send it anywhere. That's crazy. And the fact that it's the same price everywhere, like in New York, it's the same price that it is in Idaho. Tell me one other product that's true about, other than stamps. So the first National Postal Agency was founded by the Second Continental Congress at the beginning of the American Revolution. Benjamin Franklin was appointed first Postmaster General. He also served a similar position for the American colonies. So they were already doing this shit, just under a different name. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service is one of the oldest law enforcement agencies in the United States. Still law enforcement. And it was founded by Benjamin Franklin, August 7th, 1775. Its mission is to protect the Postal Service, its employees, and its customers from crime, and protect the nation's mail system from criminal misuse. I'll allow it. I have my eye on you. But I'll allow it. Ooh, what's this?
Our mantra is protect.
I thought it was mantra.
Enforce. We go everywhere.
See, like, why does it... Oh, I guess them confiscating a gun, it would have been sent in the mail. Never mind.
We don't give up. We don't relent.
Okay, this is what, what are you doing? There's no reason for
Representing
this.
the Postal Inspection Service is one of the highest callings I'll have in my lifetime.
Rest assured that we are here to serve and to protect you.
Did you know they can't search packages without a warrant? I'm not 100% sure if that's true, but someone said that to me.
They say, oh, you're a lot like the FBI. I like to tell them, no, the FBI is a lot like us.
We investigate a number of crimes to safeguard society in general.
We're very aggressive in how we investigate things.
I do not fuck with the FBI, but shut the fuck up. You're not going to tell me that the Postal Inspection Service, the FBI is looking up to y'all? This feels too embarrassing to watch.
I'm there to make things right. When things go wrong, I make them right.
If you're innocent, you'll be set free. But if you're guilty, there's no way you're going to get around the Postal Inspection Service.
What is this?
People say...
And what do you mean I will be set free? If you're innocent, you'll be set free. Why was I detained in the first place if I'm innocent?
Oh, you're absolutely wrong.
We investigate mail theft, fraud, identity theft, lottery
The way they
scams,
said mail
large-scale
theft, but the clip
crimes,
was a guy
small-scale
breaking into a
crimes.
building.
Opioid investigations, methamphetamines, cocaine, heroin.
Pump and dump schemes, investment frauds, mortgage frauds.
Suicides and homicides, romance scams,
Child exploitation cases.
Firearms trafficking.
robberies, burglaries, bombs.
Anthrax and mail. There's over 200.
Oh, they're really holding on to that
Postal
one.
Inspectors in force.
When stuff happens, even outside of the inspection service, they come to us.
At any given time, any given moment, a situation can occur.
There's so much crime that happens with the mail that people don't realize.
Homicides in the mail.
Postal inspectors are at the forefront of investigating these crimes and getting to the bottom of it.
What people don't see is the amount of time it takes to build a case, when in reality, it could be
The polos.
years before that takes place.
We're particularly focusing on being able to use intelligence and analytics in a combination to be able to put us in the right
Okay, I've seen what I've needed to see. That was funny as fuck.
Okay.
That was absolutely hilarious. So in 1792, the Post Office Department was created with the passage of the Postal Service Act, which made postal services a permanent fixture of the federal government. The appointment of local postmasters was a major venue for delivering patronage jobs to the party that controlled the White House. What does that mean, patronage? I feel like every time I see that word, it's in a different context. Let me look up the definition, because I feel like I know what it means, but every time I see it, it doesn't sound right. Like, when someone says, like, oh, I'm a patron. Okay, it has multiple meanings, and there's, like, 6 listed. Glad I'm not crazy. Political, the use of state resources to reward individuals for their electoral support. Is that legal? Anyway, the act included provisions to facilitate freedom of the press and ensure the personal privacy, or the privacy of personal correspondence, and expand the nation's physical infrastructure, all vital to the nation's growth. See, that's that shit that I'm about. Facilitating freedom of the press, ensuring privacy, and expanding our nation's physical infrastructure. What more could a girl want? You know what I'm saying? From 1810, mail was delivered 7 days a week. In 1828, local religious leaders noticed a decline in Sunday morning church attendance because the local post offices doubled as a gathering place. Do you see what they took from us? Do you see what they took from us? I also just realized I don't know how many slides this is, so let me look that up so I can know if we're, like, massively behind. No, not the Glee stream. It's not time for you yet. Oh my god, we have a lot. Let me hurry my ass on up. So yeah, anyway, they were mad that people were hanging out at the post office, so they closed it and then made people go to church. Maybe have you ever thought, why is the post office more fun than church? Like, it's literally the post office. It's the post office. The government, however, these leaders appealed to the government to intervene and close the post office on Sundays. The government, however, declined, and mail was delivered 7 days a week until 1912. Oh, so it took them a long-ass time, but I guess I do like that people get a day off, but I didn't like that it was for religious reasons. Immediately backpedals. The Gathering Place by Les Ray. Oh, this actually does look pretty cool. I would hang out. I get it now. Never mind. In the late 19th century, mailboxes were encouraged, saving carriers the time it took to deliver directly to the addressee in person. God, that's old-timey as hell. And the 19th century is the late 19th century is the late 1800s. It's just one before. During the 1910s and 20s, they were phased in as a requirement for service. That's crazy that they had to literally hand it to you. Somebody's left hand is now following you. That's a really terrifying sentence to say, but I'm happy that you followed me. Thanks. So the post office department owned and operated the first public telegraph lines. Oh, that's fucking cool. In 1844, from Washington to Baltimore, eventually extending to New York, Boston, Buffalo, and Philadelphia. We had telegraphs before telephones, and it's literally like a little thing, and you tap it, and it uses Morse code to send your message. So you wouldn't, like, be like, oh my God, how are you? Like, you wouldn't spill your guts, but you would be like, the train is left at 4. Like, it was more for, like, business type things, but you could send long ones. And I'm sure in the post office people did, but businesses used it more than, like, residences. In 1847, the telegraph system was privatized. Ah! We will never be free. We will never be free. 3 years? They only gave him 3 years. Except for a period during World War I when it was used to accelerate the delivery of letters arriving at night. Ugh! Lame. The Zimmerman telegram. Oh, don't get me started. We have so much to talk about tonight. Anyway, 1847 and 1855, the U.S. postage stamps started being issued, and then 1855 registered mail begins and prepayment of postage is required. So I guess before you could pay to, like, get it? That's hilarious. You send someone something and they have to pay to receive it. That's funny. No wonder it took forever. Fucking delivering it by hand, making change and shit. So, the Pony Express! I love the Pony Express. I don't know anything about it, but I love the concept. The Pony Express was an American express mail service that used relays of horse-mounted riders between Missouri and California. That is, like, literally so cool. I'm obsessed with that. Like, a guy on a horse is taking your letter? I love that. It was operated by the Central Overland California and Pikes Peak Express Company during the 18 months of its operation beginning in 1860. The Pony Express reduced the time for messages to travel between the East and West Coast to about 10 days. That's crazy. That they would go across the entire country using a pony relay system in 10 days. That is crazy as hell. That's why I love history, because, like, yeah, we think they're dumb because they didn't have the internet. They're actual geniuses. Not in, like, slavery and racism and all the terrible things they did in setting up the government. But the Pony Express system, that took something. It became the West's most direct means of east-west communication before the first transcontinental telegraph was established. Because that's the thing, the telegraph has to, like, the wires have to touch. So you got to put it out there. It's not like Wi-Fi. You can't just, like, it has to go on the wire. And it was vital to tying the state of California with the rest of the United States. I'm obsessed with that. Despite a heavy subsidy, the Pony Express went bankrupt in about 18 months. What could have been? A network of horses to send a letter to my friend that reads Chili's tonight. I wanted to start doing, like, chat of the night again, because I was looking at some old videos, and I saw that I used to do that, and I want to start doing it again. So I just screenshotted that. So you should all be competing to be in the thumbnail. Where was I? I'm so sad. It became a romanticized thing about the Old West. That makes me really sad. Oh, look at them. William Russell, Alexander Majors, and William B. Waddell were the 3 founders. They were already in freighting and the drayage business. At the peak of its operation, they employed 6,000 men, owned 75,000 oxen, thousands of wagons and warehouses, plus a sawmill, a meat packing plant, a bank, and an insurance company. Oh, they were probably terrible people, actually. Anytime someone owns, like, a ton of businesses of all different types, I'm like, who'd you scam? Who's doing the work here? 1863, postage rates become uniforms. become uniform, meaning like the same. Then city delivery began in urban areas with enough customers to make this economical. This required streets to be named and houses to be numbered, with sidewalks and lighting to be provided. These street addresses to be added to envelopes. The number of routes served expanded over time. Like, the post office literally drove us forward. The post office literally like drove society forward, and that's what I feel like people aren't getting. So 1872, the post office department was elevated to a cabinet level department, which made the postmaster general a cabinet member, yet they're forced to operate like a for-profit business. 1873, U.S. postal cards issued. The USPS postal card is a mailing card with a postage stamp already imprinted on it. Do they still have this? Oh, it's like postcards. I get it, but that was I was thinking like a generic one, but I guess now they're like of different places, and that's postcards. That makes sense. Because I was like, I have never seen anything like that. But now it's like Cancun. The corners must be finished, and yeah, those are like the sizes of it. It's a postcard. So 1874, the General Postal Union, now Universal Postal Union, was established. That is very early in the labor movement. I wore my like labor movement shirt tonight because I kind of wanted to start wearing costumes, but I don't have any costumes. And I felt like this fit the vibe that I was looking to curate this evening. I got this on TeePublic. I don't remember what it was titled. It was pretty cheap. I wish it fit better, but that's fine, I guess. I feel like we don't send postcards anymore. Yeah, so much so that I forgot they existed. So this, the UPO is the oldest extant intergovernmental organizations. It sought to standardize international mail delivery by establishing a uniform postal rate and equal treatment between domestic and foreign mail. Oh, it's not a union like I thought. Lame. It was founded through the Treaty of Berne. This was created the General Postal Union. Oh, so I guess it's between other countries, not the workers. Lame. There's been so many cooler opportunities. I keep giving them the benefit of the doubt. How did they measure 0.007 inches in the 1870s? They probably just said that so they could say no to people. They could be like, that is not that. Absolutely not. From 1855, sorry, I keep chewing ice, to 1997, that's a long time, a service called Special Delivery was available, which caused a separate delivery to the final location earlier in the day than the usual rounds. Oh, I've heard that in movies where they're like, special delivery. I just thought it literally just, like, they were being like, this is special. Wow. I'm an idiot. I told you, this was going to be my idiot stream. In 1891, the first experiments with rural delivery free began in less densely populated areas. Before this, people living in rural areas had to pick up mail themselves at sometimes distant post offices or pay private carriers for delivery. The proposal to offer free rural delivery was not universally embraced. Private carriers and local shopkeepers feared loss of business. RFD became a political football, with politicians promising it to voters and benefiting themselves to reach voters. Interesting. Then they did their first commemorative stamps in 1893. Would you look at that? The landing of Columbus. Of course that was the first stamp. Okay. And then Isabella pledging her jewels. Why are both of them about Columbus? By 1893, we had already fought in the Civil War. The Civil War ended in 1865. You're going to tell me your country has existed for like not even 200 years, but like over 150. I don't know. I'm bad at math. Your country's existed for enough time to have a civil war. And the only thing you could think was this? You're going through the Industrial Revolution, and you were like, oh, Columbus. You didn't even want to do, like, George Washington, maybe? Them signing the Constitution, winning the Revolutionary War. Like, there's so many obviously better choices, and the fact that you had two, 400-year anniversary, I guess. In 1490, yeah, he did. But, like, I don't like it. Then rule-free delivery begins. I'm back in. I feel like this Sprite is drying my throat out. It began with 5 routes covering 10 miles, 33 years after free delivery in cities had begun. The first routes to receive RFD during its experimental phase were Jefferson County, West Virginia, near Charlestown, Halltown, and Uvilla. Legislation by Congress Thomas E. Watson of Georgia mandated the practice, and RFD became an official service in 1896. Later that year, 82 rural routes were put into operation. Tens of thousands of routes had to be found, a massive undertaking. Nationwide RFD service took several years to implement and remains the biggest and most expensive endeavor ever instituted by the U.S. Postal Service. I do always wonder that, because they go far, like in the middle of nowhere, which is crazy. TLDR, successful, grew steadily. The mileage increase, cost was $1.75 million, lots of people employed. But yeah, I don't want to read it, but by 1930, 43,000 rural routes served over 6.8 million families, accounting for to 25.4 million people at a cost of $106 million. That'll do it. So, 1911 to 67. I wish that I'd picked a topic where we could watch TV more. I really have brain rot. One thing I wish I could do is literally share my screen and we could watch TV together. And I think you all would be into that. I should pick something that's on YouTube, because I realize I've only wanted to do it with things on Peacock and it doesn't let you. So, an act of Congress, June 25th, 1910, established the Postal Savings System into designated post offices effective January 1st, 1911. The legislation aimed to get money out of hiding. Oh, and attract the savings of immigrants accustomed to saving at post offices in their native countries, and provide safe depositories for people who had lost confidence in banks. Yeah, and this is before the Great Depression. And furnish more convenient depositories for working people. I love that the post office used to do banking. They should keep doing it. Although bankers first viewed the postal savings system as competition, they were later convinced that it brought a considerable of money out of hiding from mattresses and cookie jars. The law establishing the postal savings systems directed the post office department to redeposit the money in the system in local banks, where it earned 2.5% interest. The postal savings system paid 2% interest per year on deposits. The 0.5% interest was intended to pay for operation of the system. Seems good to me. So, mail service on Sundays is stopped except for express mail. Parcel post begins in 1913. This is a mail service that handles packages that are too heavy for the regular letter post. It's usually slower. Parcel post became popular, handling about 300 million parcels in its first 6 months of operation. In 1913, Jesus. Super Nanny, I love Super Nanny. So that brings me to my other idea that I really want to happen. I want a TV show that's like Super Nanny meets Kitchen Nightmares, where I go into schools and the people that called me think I'm going to yell at the kids and the teachers, but then I yell at the people that called me, whether it's the administrators or the district. What do we think? Less cursing than Kitchen Nightmares, more fighting than Super Nanny. Right? Right? Anyway. Sorry, I keep coughing. I'm almost not sick. I can feel it. It only has a couple days left in it, and I will win. So, just a few weeks after they started doing the parcel post, a couple mailed their 8-month-old son to his grandmother, who lived just a few miles away. Absolutely incredible. Is this in Ohio? Batavia? I see the O on the little thing. So that's hilarious. He was just shy of the 11-pound weight limit for packages sent, and his delivery only cost 15 cents in postage, but they insured him for $50. Call it bad apples or something. Oh, that's good. That is good. That is good. But that's absolutely hilarious that they just put him in the mail. They didn't even ask. They just did it. Absolutely incredible. Oh yeah, I guess 11 pounds for an 8-month-old. So, you know how people will shit talk people for giving their baby formula? That's what happens before we had formula. 8-month-olds are 11 pounds. Because that's, like, wrong, right? Like, I don't have a baby, so I don't know that much detail about them. But, like, I've held 8-month-olds, and they were pretty heavy. Like, 11 pounds? 11 pounds? We need to talk about your show concept. That's amazing. Thank you. I was very proud of it. Yeah, 8-month-olds should be like 20 pounds. That's wildly underweight. It is wrong. Before I forget, get your free COVID test from USPS. Yeah, I was about to say, I was 9 pounds when I was born, and I know people that have had 11-pound babies, which I know is big for a newborn. But for an 8-month-old, that seems too small. This is not him. It's not him, but this is a photo that I did see. They said it was posed, but it's not him. It's a photo, but it's not him. Again, to reiterate, not him. My nephew is 9 pounds born, so yeah, 11 pounds is super underweight. Yeah, so that's what happens when you don't have formula. And I'm, like, not even trying to make a joke. That's just literally true. Yeah, it's a different baby. That was a different baby. We don't have a picture of the tiny baby. We only have a picture of that baby who is just posing for the photo. They assured me, they were like, we're just posing. We did do it with a bunch of other babies, but this one, we didn't do it with this specific baby. Can you believe the postman took the baby, though? He's like, fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. They did say it was just a couple of miles away. That's the only reason that, like, and it was 1913, you guys. Like, and it was a couple miles away, so, like, I guess. I guess that's fine. If I was the post guy, I'd be like, fucking whatever. Like, I'd rather just do it than fight with you. So, June 1913, several newspapers, including the Washington Post, the New York Times, and the LA Times, all ran stories stating that the postmaster had officially decreed that children could no longer be sent through the mail. While this announcement seems to have stemmed from a trickle of tots traveling via the post, Lynch says the story wasn't entirely accurate. According to the regulations at that point, only animals were allowed, and the only animals allowed were bees and bugs. There's an account of a May Pierstoff being mailed under the chicken rate, but chicks weren't allowed until 1918. I feel like people were definitely doing it. I've seen the pictures. The role of postal workers. While the odd practice of sometimes slipping kids into the mail might be seen as incompetence or negligence, historians see it more of an example of how much rural communities relied on and trusted local postal workers. You see, that's what I'm saying. History might be judging you, but I'm not. Mail carriers were trusted servants. The stories of rural carriers delivering babies and taking care of the sick. Even now, they'll save lives because they're sometimes the only person that visits a remote household every day. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're all that we have. February 19th, 1914, a 4-year-old girl named Charlotte May Pierstoff was mailed, this is the one they were saying they weren't sure is true, via train from her home in Grangeville, Idaho to her grandparents' house about 73 miles away. Her story has become legendary that it's been made into a children's book, Mailing May. So, 1915, the last account of a child being sent through the mail. Parcel post baby makes trip upon Eleni Railroad. Clerk accepts child despite doubt as legality of act. Jackson, Kentucky. Anything can happen in Jackson, said a traveling man. I'm not reading that entire thing, sorry. 1918, scheduled airmail service begins. Pilots took off for Washington, D.C. and Belmont Park, Long Island, simultaneously and flew to Philadelphia to exchange mail bags. The early mail planes had no reliable instruments or radios, kind of like how now the mail trucks don't have AC. They're getting it, I heard, but they don't have it right now. The early mail planes, like we said, had no reliable instruments, and pilots navigated using landmarks and dead reckoning. They also faced bad weather and frequent forced landings. Seems like a great system, all in all, honestly. I don't see any flaws. I just swallowed a piece of ice. That kind of hurt. In the early 1900s, hypnotism was a common scapegoat for theft throughout the nation. People would claim to meet strangers in the street and after waking up with no realization that they had been robbed. They had such weird problems. In September 1919, Postal Inspector T.R. Jervey was tasked with investigating a post office robbery in Lyman, Mississippi. Miss Thelma Taylor, a postal clerk, claimed a woman by the name of Miss Nichols approached the counter asking her for the mail. When she was informed there was none for her, she walked behind the counter and took $19.75 from the drawer. Fair amount of money back in the day. Miss Taylor later stated that she believed she was hypnotized into a stupor by Miss Nichols. The perpetrator was later located and arrested by postal inspectors. That's hilarious. In December 1929, Miss Rita Moore of Michigan discovered a cow chewing bits of newspaper and mail outside her home. That's it? I feel like something is missing from there. Moving on. In 1939, postal inspectors investigated a life insurance and death note that disappeared from the mail in Lincoln, Nebraska. During the investigation, a neighbor contacted authorities stating, "Oh shit!" stating that a cow went to the box and ate all but the small bits of the insurance policies and the death claims. However, this was not the only time an animal was blamed for mail disappearance. There's multiple. I thought it was real. I said, oh shit, because I thought it was 10 years later and they found it. That's what I thought, but I don't think I'm right. So prior to advancement fingerprinting, creating new aliases was rather simple. Priscilla von Sternberg Fitzgerald created 27 aliases before being finally convicted in 1939. Fitzgerald, pretending to be the Baroness, would pose as a lady-in-waiting to the former German Kaiser and daughter General von Sternberg of the Imperial German Army. That's the Nazis. Just to make everything really clear, it's 1939. That's the Nazis. Just wanted everyone to know. Prior to the advancement of fingerprinting, oh, see? Like, something got messed up here. The Baroness would borrow various sums of money from newly acquired friends. In all, she obtained roughly $3,500, which would be $73,000 in today's standard. Her downfall came when a Long Island City letter carrier became suspicious of her activity and reported her to Inspector H.W. Mahan. She was arrested and convicted of mail fraud, sentenced to 4 years in federal prison and an additional 3 years of probation. Very Anna Delvey coded. Very, very Anna Delvey coded. Absolutely. So 1942 to 45, we had V-Mail for Victory Mail. This was a service available for military mail. Letters were converted into microfilm and reprinted near the destination to save room on transport vehicles for military cargo. That is kind of cool. How did they do that? That's cool. Oh, I guess because it's the microfilm. Yeah, it does save space. That's fun. That's very fun. I didn't know that. We're learning so much tonight. So, 1947, the film Miracle on 34th Street and the identity of Kris Kringle as the one and only Santa Claus was validated by a state court based on the delivery of 21 bags of mail to the character in question. Oh, it's literally, I thought they were saying like the guy from the movie is real. It's just saying like this is the post office in popular culture. I understand now.
These letters have just now been delivered to Mr. Kringle by bona fide employees of the post office. I offer them as positive proof that a competent...
3 letters, Your Honor, are hardly positive proof. I understand the post office receives thousands of these letters every year.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be very happy to see them.
Yes. Produce them, Mr. Gailey. Put them here on my desk.
I want spicy chips.
Your Honor...
Put them here on the desk. Put them...
Yes, Your Honor.
Bring in the dancing lobsters. Old-time movies are fun. Sometimes. Sometimes they're really bad. Where did they find all these white dudes? Outside? This movie was male propaganda. Male propaganda is funny. 1950, residential deliveries are reduced to a day. 1957, the Citizen Stamp Advisory Committee is established, and Saturday delivery was temporarily suspended. The U.S. Postal Service's Citizen Stamp Act Advisory Committee evaluates potential subjects for U.S. postage stamps and reports its recommendations to the Postmaster General, who makes the final decision. CSAC is composed of 10 to 15 members who are appointed by the Postmaster General. Members are chosen because of their expertise in art, education, design, history, and literature. I want that job. I want every job. I wish I could live for like 500 years because there's literally so many things I want to do. 1963, USPS introduces the Zone Improvement Plan, zip code. That's where it comes from? I didn't know that. Huh. The 5-digit codes were created to improve the speed of mail delivery and to help the Postal Service handle the growing volume of mail. Yeah, 1963. Post-baby boom. We got a lot of people up in this bitch. We need zip codes. The new system used a machine-readable codes and newer sorting machines to reduce the number of sorting stops for letters. The booming American economy led to a surge in mail volume, with over 80 billion pieces of mail being delivered annually by the 1960s. The USPS looked to West Germany for inspiration, emulating their coding system to help handle the increased mail. 1963, West Germany is not the Nazis. So, like, they had some other stuff going on, but it's not Nazis, so that's good, I guess. I guess a lot of the people that lived there probably formerly were Nazis, because it wasn't that long ago. But Hitler had been dead a while, is what I'm trying to say. 1970, Western Union, in cooperation with the Postal Service, introduced the mailgram, a special type of telegram offered by Western Union intended for bulk mailing to multiple addresses. The sender would contact WU and submit the messages to be sent to a list of addressees to the mail requested mailgrams to. The message and address data were then sent electronically over Western Union's terrestrial network, normally used for standard telegrams. With WU's I don't understand this at all. But they started doing stuff. So 1970, postal workers in New York City who were upset over low wages and poor working conditions, and they were emboldened by the civil rights movement, organized a strike. So emboldened, I'm going to choose the word inspired instead of emboldened. This was for just postal workers in New York City, but it eventually gained the support of 210,000 postal workers across the nation. While the strike ended without any concessions from the federal government, it did ultimately allow for the postal worker unions and the government to negotiate a contract which gave the unions most of what they wanted, as well as the signing of the Postal Reorganization Act by President Richard Nixon in 1970. The act repealed the cabinet-level post office department with a new federal replaced the cabinet-level post office department with a new federal agency, the U.S. Postal Service, and took effect in 1971. Sorry, I got distracted. So yeah, I guess they did a strike and they kind of got some stuff done, which is cool. Good for them. I like that. They striked. I love when people strike, hence my shirt. 1974, self-adhesive stamps are tested. Damn, before you had to glue it on? I guess they didn't have very good adhesive back then. I really was born at the right time. Like, I love being able to choose between 40 different types of tape. I love that. I love that. I love that I have a favorite brand of glue. They did not have these luxuries once upon a time. Before this, the first adhesive postage stamp was issued by Great Britain. It had a substance applied to the back made from potato starch, wheat starch, and acacia gum. Ugh. Collectors soaked these stamps in water to remove the paper that the stamp was applied to. Interesting. 1978, all postage stamps issued under the former United States Post Office Department and any other postage items that were released before 1978 are not subject to copyright, but stamp designs since 1978 are copyrighted. Damn, they really said it's our design. It is our design. I was not made for my pre-internet times. So the U.S. Postal Service in 1982 they have not requested a public service subsidy since 1982. They're generally self-funded, relying on revenue from stamp and package sales to operate. The USPS does receive some implicit subsidies, such as exemptions from taxes and tolls and parking tickets for delivery vehicles. We should literally be giving them more money. I don't care. I want the postal workers to all get Hoka sneakers, and I want our taxes to pay for it. That's what I want. I don't recall ever being asked, even though it's my money. Interesting. I wonder if the duck art stamp contest is mentioned. Where was I? In 2022, the Postal Regulatory Commission estimated that the value of these subsidies are between $39 to $74 million annually. Like I said, give them more money. I want them to have more money. I want them to have air conditioning. I want them to pay for their lunch. I want them to be able to get Uber Eats if they want, delivered to their car. Follow me, find me. That is how much money I want them to have. Sorry, I burped because I'm drinking Sprite. You get what you pay for. Anyway, a subsidy is a financial contribution from the government. See, we're so smart. We're learning so much. Where was I? The NBC sitcom Cheers was known for its a know-it-all bar regular and letter carrier. Cliff would often make toast in a postal way, such as raising his glass and saying, "As they say down at the post office, here's looking up your address." His name even became part of postal lore when an employee at another branch told him to get your head out of the clavin after making a mistake. In 2022, Ratzenberg recorded a cameo video urging people to support the United States Postal Service, in the video suggesting that people do their Christmas shopping early at the post office store. I remember that when everyone was like, we have to save the post office. I bought a blanket. I love a good group cause.
Cheers is filmed before a live studio audience.
Louis, you look like an athlete. You play football or anything?
A little bit. Mostly I'm a fighter.
You're a fighter? Who are you? You think you know a guy all these years and he can still surprise you like that, huh? I didn't know you were a fighter, Louis.
Well, that's what you asked for in your ad up on the bulletin board.
I love, look at them, in popular culture. Look at their outfits. Oh, you know what I should have told her to include was like a outfit history. That would have been cool. I'll look it up. So, in 1983, the extended zip code was introduced. For example, this is a fake address I made up, obviously. I don't know my extended zip code. Do you guys? Because I definitely don't. David Brin's novel, The Postman, portrays USPS and its return services as a staple to revive the United States in a post-apocalyptic world. It was adapted as a film starring Kevin Costner and Lawrence Tate in 1997. I'm obsessed with this. I'll look up the outfits while we watch. Wait, what year did it say? The year is 2013. Please. Please! Please! I thought that said 2040.
The United States doesn't exist!
I'm giving you a chance at a life that means something. Redemption is within your grasp.
You were required to show yourself.
But I'm not with these people. I'm just passing through.
I can see it in your eyes.
What is this?
You are a dangerous man.
Kill him!
You just head back the way you came. We don't give charity.
I'm a representative of the United States government, authorized by restored Congress to reestablish communication route.
What's that mean in English?
Means I'm your postman.
You are nothing but a drifter who found a bag of mail.
I need to watch this.
I have a feeling about you.
Did you see that? Like, everyone was in anarchy, and that guy was like, I'm the postman. Wow. My fiance is studying to be a postal worker. It's tough. You can only take the test one time every 2 years. Really? I had no idea.
I know you'll do what's right.
Who's responsible for that?
I'm kind of obsessed with
A man
this.
came through with mail, said he was a postman, said that the government had been restored back east.
What government? The United States government!
How about you? Do you have a letter?
I don't have anybody to write to.
Okay.
I'm not the skeleton to stay warm. There is no restored United States.
You gave them back their memories.
You've given us all back what we've forgotten.
You have a gift, postman. You give out hope like it was candy in your pocket.
I want all mail carriers hunted down.
Gotta stay on the site.
I'm a postman. I want the postman found. I want him dealt with.
I am hooked.
How much mail can a dead postman deliver?
We're not gonna stop. Somebody.
This makes me want to rewatch Going Postal. My mom loves this movie because she's a mail carrier. I love your mom. Tell her we said thank you.
Might have to die.
You can't keep doing this.
The Pony
We're
Express.
Not saving anybody.
Did I ever tell you how I got to be a postman? I don't know if you'd laugh or cry.
You hear me? Postman! I said ride!
This is what the post office inspectors from the first video think that they are. This is absolutely what they think that they are. They've all seen this movie. This is what you watch on your first day at work there.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I need to watch this. I'm watching this weekend.
There used to be a postman for every street in America. They wore uniforms and hats, just like this one. Getting a letter made you feel like you were part of something bigger than yourself. I don't think we ever really understood
This is
what they
amazing.
meant to us until they were gone.
Oh, I'm in. I am in. Also, I wanted to read this comment. Google about the test. Only 10 to 20% of applicants pass the exam's passing grade of a 70% and go on to receive a job offer. That is competitive. Also, I found their outfits, so we're gonna look at their outfits now. I want this to go away. So in the beginning, this is an image of the first one. Not that much drip. I do like the backpack. The hat goes hard. Jacket's okay, I guess. Not loving the pants. This is post-war. What war? I guess post... Mail delivery was becoming more commonplace after the Civil War. Okay, so this is after the Civil War. Early postal worker with the mailbox. 1888, New York postal workers. I don't like how their jackets don't fit them. Not loving that. Not loving that. Oh. Okay, I see the vision. I need better tailoring. We're doing these men terribly. There's their hat. Norman Rockwell. Times are changing. Female post worker in the 1960s. Seems like they didn't really have that much change throughout. I guess during World Wars, redesigning the post office uniforms was probably not that big of a priority. In 1957, the employee handbook casually broke gender barriers when it offhandedly mentioned women would be working for the organization. They literally didn't even say anything except for item uniforms for female employees are the same for male employees except with the addition of a skirt. That's hilarious. That is hilarious that they were like, oh yeah, we hire women now. Get over it. Thanks. That's awesome. That's baller. 1960s saw a loosening of uniform guidelines, even allowing them to choose their own summer headwear in 1964. Whoa there. 1980s. Now that's what I'm talking about. Fucking logo. All blue. Bag. Hat. collar, tailored. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. That's what I've been looking for this entire time. Again, okay, sorry. The 1980s one was better. 1990s is good. 1980s was better. That is literally perfect. Logo, the shade of blue. I'm obsessed with it. No notes. 7 out of 10. You know? 7 out of 10. And this is the modern day. Postal workers show off their shorts. I'm so happy for them. I'm so glad they get to wear shorts. The guy showing his full thighs, absolutely incredible. Oh my God, is that a skort? I love a skort moment. That was cool. That was a fun little detour. I'm glad we did that. Not as good as that movie, though. I'm really not over the movie. Like, not over the movie, never gonna be over the movie. Seinfeld, they had an apartment neighbor, and foil to Jerry Seinfeld was a letter carrier.
What records?
I've seen Seinfeld. I remember this guy.
Partners selling used records.
Petition to make the shorts shorter. They need rompers. I love a man in postal uniform. My back hurts.
Ron's records down on Bleecker? They pay big cash for used records.
Yeah, so we thought if you had any of those big, old-fashioned, useless records just, lying around.
You take them off your hands, free of charge.
Let me ask you something. What do you do for a living, Newman?
I'm a United States postal worker.
Aren't those the guys that always go crazy and come back with a gun and shoot everybody?
Sometimes.
Yeah, where does the term going postal come from?
Because the mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you gotta get it out. But the more you get out, the more it keeps
They
coming
sell
in. And then the
letterbox Halloween costumes for kids. More popular culture moment. Last twice daily deliveries in New York City were eliminated in 1990. Look what they stole from us. Self-adhesive stamps are nationwide. Below's the evolution, like we talked about. I didn't even know that not all of them were self-adhesive ever, so. Oh my God, they have a museum. Should we go to the museum on a field trip? The National Postal Museum opens. This is located at Washington City Post Office Building in Capitol Hill next to Union Station. It was the main post office for DC for 72 years, and the museum's mission is to preserve, study, and present the history of the USPS. It houses over 6 million items. That's impressive. Admission is free. Of course it is. We have to go. We have to go. Yeah, someone look up going postal for me. I have no idea what that means. So, early 1990s, widely publicized workplace shootings. Oh, I guess it's this. Holy shit. It's getting heavy. And this is what my assistant said. She said I got crazy at the second half of the stream. So sorry, I should have gone faster through some of that stuff. So anyway, in the early 1990s, widely publicized workplace shootings by disgruntled employees at USPS facilities led to a human resource effort to provide care for stressed workers and resources for coworker conflicts. Due to media coverage, postal employees gained a reputation among the general public as more likely to be mentally ill. The USPS Commission on a Safe and Secure Workplace found that postal workers are only a third as likely as those in the national workforce to be victims of a homicide at work. In the documentary Murder by Proxy, How America Went Postal, it was argued that this number failed to factor out workers killed by external subjects rather than fellow employees. Interesting. The 1990s were the beginning of the end. 1993, the USPSI has the power to enforce the USPS monopoly by conducting search and seizure raids on entities they suspect of sending non-urgent mail through overnight delivery competitors. They said, we're coming in, open up. According to the American Enterprise Institute, a private conservative think tank, BARF, the USPSI raided Equifax offices in 1993 to ascertain if the mail they were sending through FedEx was truly extremely urgent. It was found that the mail was not, and Equifax was fined $30,000. That's so funny, and I literally don't care. Oh, Equifax had to pay a stupid fine? Good. Okay, do it again. Do it again. Because I don't give a fuck. Do it again. Do it to every bank, as a matter of fact. Do it again. And I love that Equifax was fined and not FedEx. Not the people actually doing it. And I know the conservative think tank was like, can you believe our government did this? Do it again. Do it again and do it more. I want you to do it more. Do it more intense. Up it. 300,000. Fuck it. Double it. Triple it. I don't care. So, 1994, they launched their first public internet site. They are online. They're probably on Omegle AIMing men. In 1996, the United States Postal Service Office of Inspector General was authorized by law in 1996. They performed the inspection service, did it before that. The Inspector General, who is independent of postal management, is appointed by and reports directly to the 9 presidentially appointed Senate-confirmed members of the Board of Governors of the United States Postal Service. Jesus. But I guess it makes sense that your, like, police need to be separate management from your regular management. Otherwise, like, corruption can happen. So I guess I understand why they split it up. Anyway, the primary purpose was to prevent, detect, and report fraud, waste, and program abuse, promote efficiency. The OIG has oversight responsibility for all activities of the Postal Inspection Services. Oh, no, they didn't replace it. There's just 2. Interesting. Film Dear God portrays a group of quirky postal workers in a dead letter office that handles letters addressed to the Easter Bunny, Elvis, and even God. Dear God. Oh, I get it.
There was a horrible fire.
I thought it was like, my dear God.
I had to pull a couple of kids out with my bare hands. They're fine, but now how am I supposed to catch a cab to the Burns Center?
Can Papa?
I insist. Oh, yeah. It's like 30 miles. Oh, sure. Oh.
In the city of Los Angeles, it was business as usual.
Oh, God, sister. Give me your address. I swear I'll send you a check.
And no one took advantage of it.
Does anybody buy your BS?
Like Tom Turner.
They popped the priest. It's the toys for the orphans. How much money did you spend?
I don't know exactly my salary.
God bless you.
God bless you. I got the skills to pay the bills. LAPD, Merry Christmas, pal.
Now he's about to be sentenced.
You, sir, have 1 week to find a job. A real job. 9 to 5, 5 days a week for a year.
9 to 5, Your Honor, that seems a bit excessive.
To the job from...
Okay, I'm not saying that him being a scammer was okay, but I am saying he did make a point with 9 to 5 being kind of excessive.
Hell.
This is your new home.
Dead letter office. All these letters are undeliverable, unreturnable.
With co-workers.
Don't nod at me on your first day. I gotta get to know you.
From another planet.
The eagle has landed! Did you really bite a dog?
Just in the knee.
This is addressed to Mr. God. Superman, Elvis, the Easter Bunny, and God.
And a mission.
Dear God, we still don't have running water or hallway lights.
And what began as a request...
What do you say, Tom? Are you in?
All right, we do one.
became a mission that was nothing less than miraculous.
I work 8 to 5. Things are getting out of hand.
Will be 9 next week, and all she wants is to ride a horse.
This is heartwarming.
I feel my life is meaningless to everyone.
Paramount Pictures presents
Regular people are doing miracles, and you started it.
You know, when you care, you're kind of rewarded for doing it.
Dear God.
Postal workers could use a better image.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm gonna lose it and take people out with an AK-47. Crazy, huh?
God.
That's crazy that it was like a meme about postal workers being violent. That's like actually so insane. Special delivery service is discontinued. They literally just keep taking things from us. All they do is like take. Everyone just takes from us. The push for 8 to 5 is because companies don't want to pay for your lunch break is crazy. I remember that when I got my corporate job and they were like, oh, do you want to work 8:30 to 5 or 9 to 5:30? And I was like, what? And they were like, because you have 30 minutes for lunch, so. And I was like, I guess 8:30 to 5. And then I proceeded to be 25 minutes late almost every single day because the other person got there at 9. So who's going to know? And then one time they tried to check the cameras to see if I was late. And then they realized that they couldn't because they had paid for the cheapest Ring footage possible. So it didn't save past 48 hours when they tried to check. Isn't that the funniest shit you've ever heard in your life? 1998, U.S. semi-postal stamp is issued. What does that mean? The healing of PTSD. 2001, the anthrax attacks. One of my favorite streams I ever did. I forgot almost everything about it already. I just remembered there was like sorority girls and like all this crazy stuff. So the anthrax attacks began just a week after the 9/11 attacks, which had resulted in the World Trade Center destruction, damage to the Pentagon, and then the plane that landed in the field. The anthrax mailings occurred in 2 waves. The first set of letters postmarked September 18th, 2001. 5 letters containing anthrax were sent to major media outlets, ABC News, CBS News, NBC News, and the New York Post in New York City, as well as the National Enquirer and American Media in Boca Raton, Florida. 1. The first known victim was Robert Stevens, an employee at the Sun tabloid who died October 5th, 2001, shortly after being hospitalized with an undiagnosed illness that caused vomiting and shortness of breath. The specific letter containing anthrax that killed Stevens was never found. While only the letters sent to the New York Post and NBC News were identified, the existence of the letters sent to the other places is often inferred due to infections reported among individuals in those organizations. Scientists noted that the anthrax from the New York Post letter was a coarse, clumped brown granular material resembling dog food. 2 additional anthrax letters postmarked from Trenton, dated October 9th, were sent to U.S. Senators Tom Daschle and Patrick Leahy. Daschle was the Senate Majority Leader, while Leahy chaired the Senate Judiciary Committee, and both were Democrats. The Daschle letter was opened by an aide, prompting an immediate shutdown of government mail services. The unopened Leahy letter was found in a misdirected mail bag on November 16th at the State Department Mail Annex in Virginia, where a postal worker, David Hose, contacted inhalation anthrax after handling it. At least 22 people developed anthrax infections due to the attacks, with 11 contracting the more serious inhalation variety. 5 individuals died from the anthrax attacks. Robert Stevens, 2 employees from the Brentwood Mail Facility, Thomas Morris Jr. and Joseph Kersine, and 2 other exposures remain unknown. Kathy Nguyen, a Vietnamese immigrant from the Bronx, and Ottilie Ludren, a 94-year-old widow from Oxford, Connecticut. Authorities suspect that the anthrax letters were mailed from Princeton, New Jersey, after finding anthrax spores in a mailbox at 10 Nassau Street near Princeton University. Of approximately 600 mailboxes tested, this was the only one that tested positive for anthrax. And I get FOMO. We would literally be here all night because I would get distracted during the 30-minute intermission and get sidetracked, unfortunately. So I just can't handle that. This is the letters that were in there. This is next. Take penicillin now. Death to America. Death to Israel. Allah is great. No one clip that. No one clip me saying that. Thanks. No one can stop us. We have this anthrax. You die now. Are you afraid? I'm not going to say it again. One day, if I run for president, that's going to be on, like, the opposers campaign ad. It's going to be that clip of me. I have so many clips like that. So, all the anthrax letters were photocopies, and the originals were never recovered. Each letter was trimmed to different sizes, with the Senate letter containing punctuation while the media letter did not. Additionally, the handwriting on the media letters and envelopes was roughly twice the size of that on the Senate letters. The envelopes to Senators Daschle and Leahy featured fictitious return addresses. In 2001, U.S. Merit, I don't know what that is. That will be in the attack. Scientist Peter Jarling reported that anthrax in the letter to Senator Daschle contains silicone, which could enhance its lethality by aiding in lung penetration, raising suspicions about a bioweapons program. However, 7 years later, Jarling admitted that he made an error, having been overly influenced by his microscopic observations. At the time, scientists at USMRID were concerned that anthrax might be combined with smallpox. Initial tests indicated that unusual characteristics in the spores, sparking speculation that they had been engineered. On October 25, 2001, further testing confirmed the presence of silicone and oxygen in the spores, leading to reports that the anthrax might have been made more lethal with the additives of things like powdered glass, which fueled coverage and debate over the possibility of weaponization. Authorities conducted an extensive investigation into the anthrax attacks, traveling to 6 continents, interviewing over 9,000 individuals, executing 67 searches, and issuing more than 6,000 subpoenas. That's a funny word. 100 of FBI personnel initially worked on the case, trying to determine if there was a connection between the 9/11 attacks and the anthrax murders, and ultimately concluded that there was none. As of September 2006, 17 FBI agents and 10 postal inspectors, including Special Agent Frank Figliuzzi, were still assigned to the case, focusing on evidence and recovery efforts. In the aftermath of the anthrax attacks, White House officials pressured FBI director to publicly attribute the attacks to Al-Qaeda, seeking to connect them to the 9/11 attacks. Mueller faced intense scrutiny during intelligence briefings for not providing evidence linking the anthrax spores to Osama bin Laden. Despite the FBI's awareness that the anthrax consistency, it was produced with sophisticated equipment, making it unlikely to have originated in a cave. Concurrently, President Bush and Vice President Cheney publicly suggested that there was a potential connection between the anthrax attacks and Al-Qaeda. In 2001, molecular biologist Barbara Hatch-Rosenberg proposed that the anthrax attacks might have been organized by a rogue CIA agent. She shared this theory with the FBI and publicly discussed a convention in Geneva at the Federation of American Scientists. And on the Federation of American Scientists website. So damn, at the convention and on the website. Her claims garnered media attention, particularly after New York Times columnist Nicholas Kristof suggested that he knew the attacker's identity, leading to suspicion around Dr. Stephen Hatfill. Although Hatfill cooperated with the FBI, Attorney General John Ashcroft labeled him as a person of interest in 2002. He denied any involvement and subsequently sued several organizations for defamation, settling with the Justice Department for $5.8 million in 2008, while continuing to pursue other defamation cases, some of which were dismissed. The attention later shifted to Bruce Ivins, a researcher at Fort Detrick who committed suicide in 2008 just before the FBI was reportedly ready to charge him. While prosecutors named him the sole perpetrator, claiming he controlled the anthrax used in the attacks, many experts question his ability to make such a sophisticated weapon. Ivins had a history of mental health issues. People with mental health issues can make bioweapons. It's 2024, or it's 2008. Many experts question his ability to make the weapon. He had a history of mental health issues and made an alarming statements about harming others. Some of his actions during the investigation, such as unauthorized sampling and suspicious behavior, raised further questions. However, doubts remained as over 400 people had access to the same lab, and the FBI's case relied on circumstantial evidence. Ivins' mental health concerns, including threatening behavior and detailed plans to harm others, which added to the FBI's suspicion. However, there were ongoing concerns about the reliability of the FBI's forensic evidence linking Ivins to the attacks. Experts suggested that the anthrax mailings contained several signs indicating the sender may have been trying to avoid harming people. For example, none of the intended recipients were infected. The seams of the envelopes were taped to prevent the powder from escaping. The letters were folded using a pharmaceutical fold method to safely contain the powders. The media letters advised the recipients to take penicillin now. The Senate letters specifically stated the powder was anthrax. It was believed at the time that powders couldn't escape from sealed envelopes, which had taped corners. In June 2008, Bruce Ivins, the FBI's main suspect, was committed to a psychiatric hospital. SMI advocate misredacted. What does SMI mean? Am I going to regret laughing at that? During group therapy, he made ambiguous statements about the anthrax attacks, saying he couldn't recall doing anything like that, but acknowledged the memory loss and feeling responsibility because the flask containing anthrax wasn't securely locked up. He also made remarks suggesting that he didn't have it in his heart to kill or hurt anyone, although he expressed concerns about being possibly involved without knowing. HIPAA where? Why do we know what happened in his group therapy session? This is why I don't do group therapy, because you literally can't trust anybody. Oh, serious mental illness. Yeah, I'll advocate for you. I'm not going to say that he didn't have detailed plans to harm people, because he did, but he can also be capable of science. Checkmate. I know that maybe he's innocent, and I probably shouldn't have said that, but I'm just saying. People are like, this mentally ill person couldn't do science. Yeah, they can. Anyway, After the FBI concluded that Bruce Ivins acted alone in the 2001 anthrax attacks, skepticism arose among experts and colleagues. Critics noted that Ivins was one of 100 individuals with access to the anthrax strain. If you missed it earlier, he worked at a military research lab. And the FBI couldn't place him near the mailbox where the letters were sent. The absence of anthrax spores in Ivins' home and belongings further cast doubt on the FBI's case, as did the belief among many of his colleagues that he was innocent. Alternative theories emerged, including claims of FBI incompetence, I would believe it, and the potential involvement of foreign entities. Senator Patrick Leahy publicly stated that he doubted Ivins acted alone, suggesting other possible accomplices. While the FBI matched the genetic origin of the anthrax to Ivins' labs, inconsistencies in the chemical signatures raised questions about the spore's productions. Experts like Henry Hine argued that it would have been impossible for Ivins to produce the spores undetected, and that the government later admitted that the necessary equipment for such production was not available in his lab. Despite calls from Congress for an independent investigation, the Obama administration indicated that it would veto such efforts to avoid publicly undermining the public's confidence in the FBI's findings. So we're just gonna lie? As someone who does science, most of us are mentally ill. Exactly. Because, let me not say that. Never mind. It wasn't offensive about you. It was going to make me sound insane, and I don't want... I'll say it. I don't care. When you know things, the world is, like, infuriating. You know what I mean? Because, like, I know things. Like, I do this stream every week. I teach history. Like, I know things. So I observe us doing stupid things. And I'm like, we've already done that stupid thing. So what are you doing? So, like, I don't know science. But I imagine that people that do know science look at things that, like, we eat and, like, fossil fuel. Like, they look at things and they're like, what is wrong with us? Like, literally, what is wrong with us? Like, knowing things makes you crazy. Like, ignorance is truly bliss. So I can imagine that people who know science are, like, a little bit unwell. Because I know, like, some history, just American, and I'm extremely unwell over it. But anyway, I'm glad I said it. I needed to get that out. So, where was I? So, yeah, they're not going to investigate it, because I guess it would make the FBI look stupid. And that's the worst thing that could possibly happen. Cool. The 2001 anthrax attacks resulted in a substantial increase in U.S. government funding for biological warfare, research, and preparedness. Inside job? Inside job? Inside job? No, it's true. That's been studied. High IQ has correlation with mental illness. I get unreasonably angry thinking about the anti-vax movement. So anyway, for example, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease saw a $1.5 billion funding boost in 2003. The Project BioShield Act, enacted in 2004, allocated $5.6 billion over 10 years for new vaccines and drugs, including treatments for anthrax. In a proactive response, the White House began distributing ciprofloxacin, the only FDA-approved treatment for an inhalation anthrax, to senior staff before the anthrax letters were mailed. Interesting. Bayer, the drug's manufacturer, agreed to supply the U.S. with 100,000 doses at a reduced price following the pressure over patent rights. Later, doxycycline was recommended as a more suitable treatment, raising concerns about antibiotic resistance from widespread ciprofloxacin use. Numerous pharmaceutical companies... Well, IQ is fake and racist. Is it? That's what... I knew that the IQ test was fucked up. Do we have, like, a better not racist one? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Anyway, I digress. Additionally, the attacks led to significant changes in U.S. mail practices, resulting in widespread confiscation and delays, which prompted many businesses to transition to email. The urgency surrounding potential terrorist acts also fueled bipartisan support for the Patriot Act, which isn't that what gave us the Department of Homeland Security? I'm allergic to doxycycline, so I'd be dead. So, there's a lot more to the anthrax story. Like I said, I have a stream about it. Would you all be mad if I did that one again? Let me do a poll and see who's here, because I kind of want to do it again, because I don't remember it. But I remember thinking it was crazy and having like so much fun that night. Let me do a poll. Oh, I can't do a poll because I'm like not logged in. I don't understand how I'm not logged in, but I'm literally streaming. So no poll. Are we into that? Are we into doing another Anthrax stream? So anyway, back to the timeline. Again. How am I also not logged in? Like literally, how is that possible? I don't understand. Why did I have to take ciprofloxacin for an ear infection? It did say it was an antibiotic. Okay, we'll do that one again. I'll add it to the list. So, 2004, the Priority Mail flat rate box is introduced. That is my shit. I do love the flat rate box. The USPS began deploying automated postal centers at their locations. Early in 2010s, they renamed them to self-service kiosks. Self-service kiosks are automated and able to weigh and mail stuff, letters and flats, renew postal office boxes, and print postage. I used to have a P.O. box, but I got rid of it because I didn't really use it that much. And now it's like not convenient. When I had it, it was like right next to my office, so I could like go on the way to work very easily. But now there's like not really one that would be convenient to me. So, 2006 Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act. This is the first major overhaul since 1970. It provided a legal definition for postal service and reorganized the Postal Rate Commission, compelled the USPS to pay in advance for health and retirement benefits for all its employees for at least 50 years. That's insane. Why do you have to be able to pay all of your employees' health and retirement benefits 50 years in advance? No business is able to do that. It also stipulated that the price of postage could not increase faster than the rate of inflation. That's fine. It also mandated them to deliver 6 days of the week. The Bush administration threatened to veto the legislation unless they added a provision regarding the funding of employee benefits in advance with the objective of using the money to reduce the federal deficit. When he signed the bill on December 20th, 2006, Bush issued signing statements that says the government can open mail under emergency situations, though Waxman asserted the government cannot do this without a search warrant. So George Bush is literally murdering the post office. Great to know. Get out of here, George Bush. The USPS restructured international service names to correspond with domestic shipping options. Formerly, USPS International Services was categorized... I kind of want to skip this. 2007, the first Forever stamp went on sale. Forever stamps can be used to mail a 1-ounce letter regardless of when the stamps are purchased or used. No matter how prices may change in the future, they're always sold at the same price as regular first-class mail stamps. The Postal Service developed the Forever stamp for consumers to ease during price changes. They're sold in sheets and booklets of 20. Customers can use Forever stamps for international mail. I didn't even know they were different. I had literally no idea. He just signed things on the golf course. I love that. They were like, you're being dramatic? Here's a fucking Forever stamp. Great. Take it. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So you cannot get the stamps that come as 500, 3,000, or 10,000. So it's booklets of 20. That seems very, very, very reasonable. The blueprint, I fear. So, 2009, Postmaster General testifies before Congress. How do they decide who the Postmaster General is? Now I need to Google that. How do they pick the Postmaster General? They're appointed by the Board of Governors of the Postal Service, which is appointed by the President. Okay. Fine. I think that actually wasn't here. I just immediately forgot it. Where was I? Postmaster General Johnny Porter testified before the Senate that if the Postal Service could not readjust its payment toward the contractually funding earned employee retire and health benefits as mandated by that law, they would be forced to consider cutting delivery to 5 days per week during June, July, and August because they literally need the money. I want to vote for the Postmaster General. Me too. But actually, do I? I don't know. Imagine like a corrupt Postmaster General. So June 10th, like I want to vote for them, but I don't want them to be a politician. That's my problem. Like, I want to vote, but I don't want them to campaign. I'm so mad I can't look up the school board members on my ballot because they're all too old to have socials. Oh, that's annoying. So you can't even find, they don't have like a website or anything? Lame. I guess if it's like a more rural area, the school board is just like whoever is running, I guess. The last general was corrupt. I imagine so. That checks out. So June 10th, 2009, the National Rural Letter Carriers Association was contacted for its input on the current study of the effect of 5-day delivery. A team of Postal Service headquarters executives and staff was given a time frame of 60 days to complete the study. The current concept examines the effect with no businesses or collection on Saturday, while the post office with current Saturday hours remaining open. Oh, so they did like a little trial run? H.R. 22 addressing the issue passed the House of Representatives and the Senate and was signed into law on September 30th, 2009. However, Postmaster General Potter continued to advance plans to eliminate Saturday mail delivery. But, like, we still do get it on Saturdays, so what happens? They have an iPhone app? What? That's cool. This is their current stuff. It seemed buy stamps, GPS, hold mail, alerts, shipping. I didn't know they had an app. Why do I remember all of this so clearly? Because you're passionate about issues that affect our country. April 15th, 2010, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform held a hearing to examine the status of Postal Service and recent reports for short and long-term strategies for financial viability and stability. But, like, if you had never made them do like, they didn't have a problem before you made them do the retirement thing. Now I'm getting pissed off. Because what are you doing to them? Literally, what are you doing to them? At which PMG Porter testified that by 2020, the USPS cumulative losses could exceed $238 billion and mail volume could drop 15% from 2009. Stop making them do the retirement thing because it's really starting to get to me. The last air delivery route in the continental U.S. and to residents in Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness was scheduled to be ended. The weekly bush plane route was contracted out to an air taxi company, had its final year at an annual cost of $46,000 or $2,400 per year per resident, over 10 times the average cost of delivering mail to a resident in the United States. Where is that? Frank Church River No Return Wilderness? Where the fuck is that? Frank Church River Return of No Wilderness. It is a national forest in Idaho. Here, I'm trying to pull it up on a map for you. No, not Google Maps, because then it's going to, like, tell me my address. Oh, it's gorgeous. I can't even, like, find a good picture on a map. Okay, there we go. There's a good one. So there's where it is, between Idaho and Montana, and it's absolutely in the middle of nowhere. But it does look very, very beautiful. Let me show you. See? Look at it. No wonder we were paying so much to deliver mail. It's pretty. I see why we decided it was worth it. Until we stopped. Do they just not get mail now? We just said fuck them, I guess. Because I guess it's probably like the forest workers. Do people live there? I don't know. Anyway. July 2011, they plan to close about 3,700 small post office. Various representatives in Congress protested, and the Senate passed a bill that would have kept open all post offices further than 10 miles from the next office. In May 2012, the service announced it had modified its plan. Instead, rural post offices would remain open with reduced retail hours, some as little as 2 hours per day, unless there was a community preference for a different option. See, like, I feel like they keep getting put in fucked up situations and they manage to deal with it in, like, the most equitable way they possibly can. And that's why I picked them to stream about. Even though it's, like, kind of low-key boring, it's, like, interesting how they just keep getting fucked. Anthrax, George Bush, literally everything. Every door direct mail, EDDM, I literally have wanted to pull my hair out over EDDM. Not because it's bad, because people are terrible at using it. And when I worked in a real estate office, I would have to help people use EDDM. And they would always be like, why can't I have their name and address? And I was like, because that's fucking weird. Like, you can't, they were like, what, I want more information about these people. They were like, I want EDDM for people of above this income. And EDDM is like a geographic area. So they would be like, well, I don't want to waste my mailers on poor people. I only want to send it to the rich ones. And I'm like, well, there's not EDDM, filter rich. So, and like, you literally send it in a tight ass geographic area. So if you just look at like the expensive areas, you're sending it to mostly rich people. And they would be like, and you don't get the people's names. Like, you basically buy a postcard. So let's say I'm a real estate agent. I have a postcard that has my face on it, my phone number, and my current listings. I can send through EDDM, and they drop it off at a bunch of people's houses that are all living in that area. I don't know the specific people that they dropped it off to. I just know the EDDM code. So you can go on their website and look at the map and see like EDDM for this area, and it'll show you your different options, and you can do all of them. You can do one specific little spot. So people would want to like filter EDDM. And I was like, that's not how EDDM works. It's literally just not. They were like, oh, what if I only want to send it to these types of people? And I was like, people think that EDDM is online lead gen, and they're two different things, and it's just upsetting to me. So anyway, you can send identical mailers at lower postage rates. So like I said, businesses do that. So that's why a lot of times when you get postcards, it says like current resident. Stuff like that. So 2012, December, they began a limited one-year trial of same-day deliveries direct from retailers or distribution hubs to residential addresses, dubbed it as Metro Post. It was initially limited to San Francisco, and the only retailer to participate in the first few weeks was 1-800-Flowers. I always wondered about that, didn't know how it worked, also hate it. 2013, February, they announced that in order to save about $2 billion per year, Saturday's delivery service would be discontinued except for packages, mail order medicine, priority mail, express mail, and mail delivered to P.O. boxes. See what I mean? Like, even when they end stuff, they're like, you'll still get your medications. And their purpose is non-urgent, but they know people have urgent shit, and so, like, they try and do a good job of doing it. But then the Consolidated and Further Continuing Appropriations Act reversed the cuts to Saturday delivery, so I guess it worked out. November 2013, they began regular package delivery on Sundays for Amazon customers in New York and LA, which had expanded to 15 cities in May 2014. Amazon Sunday delivery has expanded to most major markets as of September 2015. I think it's everywhere now. Sunday package delivery is expanded in 2013. Informed Delivery is tested. It's a free service that provides previews of mail and package notifications. I didn't know they did that. Oh, like you can see delivery status and stuff like that. I didn't know you could see preview images. That's cool. I never sent anything through the mail, so I guess I wouldn't know, but yeah. January 2014, a report by the Inspector General suggested that the agency could earn $8.9 billion a year by providing financial services, especially in areas where there's no local banks, but there is a local post office, and to customers who do not have bank accounts. Didn't they used to do banking? That's what I thought. Did the post office used to bank? Because I know in other countries they do. They offered banking services. Oh, yeah, we talked about that. From 1911 to 1967. Because, yeah, they did used to bank. I guess they ended it in 1967. The system discontinued in 1967 after Congress passed legislation requiring them to stop accepting deposits. The remaining deposits were transferred to claims funds in the United States Treasury. That makes me mad that they ended it. And I feel like I'm upset. Why did they stop banking? Why did the post office stop banking? Oh, the rise of saving bonds also drew funds from the system, and the banks had fully recovered consumer deposits, so the postal service The postal savings system was seen as redundant. But I don't like that because, like, all of our banking is, like, really privatized and it's kind of gross. And they said because we have the FDIC that we didn't need it anymore. But I really just don't like that at all. No. Where was I? Signed, sealed, delivered, original title, dead letters, aired on the Hallmark Channel in 2014. Oh my God, I love a good Hallmark. Love a good Hallmark
Putting
moment.
a stamp on a letter and sending it out there into the world
is an act of faith.
We do not find the letters, they bind us.
For some providential reason, they have been misdirected. Our job is to revive a dead letter and send it along.
We read only as far as we must, gleaning and gathering clues as to the correct destination.
Think of us as a covert division of postal intelligence.
Like secret agents. The handwriting indicates a female in her 20s.
Charlie has no idea they're supposed to meet in 3 days.
Who needs this letter?
U.S. Postal Service, huh?
You have a way of thinking outside.
What is
the
this
mailbox.
This is just one letter.
Not to you.
Sometimes you just have to take the leap.
What is this?
If you trust us, we'll do everything in our power to help you.
The last hope of the written word.
Did you get my letter?
I most certainly did.
What we do here does make a difference.
I feel like they have a lot of cheersing. I need to see the beginning of that again. Like,
Putting a stamp on a letter and
what is
sending
this
it out
about?
into the world
Is an act of faith.
We do not find the letters, they bind us.
For some providential reason, they have been misdirected. Our job is to revive a dead letter and send it along.
We read
So they just resend the lost mail? That's what it's about? I guess. Weird. The Inspectors, which depicts a group of U.S. Postal Service inspecting postal crimes, debuted on CBS. The series uses the USPSI seal and features messages and tips from the chief postal inspector at the end of each episode. It's literally propaganda for the Postal Service.
You're one of the best inspectors the agency's ever seen.
Generous with their time, yeah. This is their Olympics. This is their Olympics, is this show. I'm sure they were... Another great show for us to add to our list. Informed delivery is available nationwide as of 2017. So December 17th, 2017, President Trump, derogatory, criticized the Postal Service's relationship with Amazon. In a post on Twitter, he said, "Why is the post office, which is losing many billions of dollars a year, while charging Amazon and others so little to deliver their packages? Making Amazon richer and the post office dumber and poorer. Should be charging much more. Amazon maintains that the Postal Service makes a profit from its contract with the company." May 2017, a family in Afton, Iowa, captured a video of a local cow stealing mail out of their mailbox. So this is a ongoing issue, because remember, it happened a long-ass time ago, too.
Cow eat paper for?
Often governments and military will allow filming with official gear as long as they get final say in how the agency is produced. I had a stream about the CIA. The CIA is involved in film. The military is involved in film. Why was the military a consultant on Pitch Perfect 3?
Drop the envelope.
This really is a problem that's been plaguing our nation for generations. Hate to see it. 2018, June, the governmental reorganization plan, a Donald Trump administration, proposed turning the USPS into a private postal operator, which could save costs through measures like delivering mail fewer days per week or delivering to central locations instead of door to door. There was strong bipartisan opposition to the idea in Congress. Good. For once, Congress is being decent. May 2020, in a controversial move, the board of directors at the United States Postal Service appointed Louis DeJoy, the first postmaster general in the last 2 decades who did not emerge from postal bureaucracy. Instead, had 3 decades of experience in the private delivery sector, which he created a national corporation with 80,000 employees. DeJoy immediately began taking measures to reduce costs, such as banning overtime and extra trips to deliver mail. While DeJoy admitted that these measures were causing delays in mail delivery, he said they would eventually improve the service. More than 600 high-speed mail sorting machines were scheduled to be dismantled and removed from postal facilities, raising concern that mailed ballots for the November 3rd election might not reach the election offices in time. The Inspector General opened an investigation into the recent changes. So, because you're worried about mail-in ballots, you're going to fuck with the post office? Interesting. On August 16th, the House of Representatives was called back from its summer recess to consider a bill rolling back all the changes. On August 18th, 2020, after days of heavy criticism and the day after lawsuits against the Postal Service and DeJoy were personally filed in federal court by several individuals, DeJoy announced that he would roll back all changes until after the November election. He said that he would reinstate overtime hours, roll back service reductions, and halt the removal of mail sorting machines and collection boxes. However, 95% of the mail sorting machines that were planned for removal had already been removed. Why the fuck would you remove mail sorting machines right before the election? Oh, right, it's because you were trying to steal an election. I feel like we forgot how much he tried to steal that election. Like, obviously January 6th, but I mean, like, preceding that. Interesting. Yeah, and in 2020, because of COVID, I hadn't even really thought about that aspect, that it was a year for heavy mail-in ballots. Disturbing. I didn't mail in a ballot in 2020 because my building sucked at the mail, like, not the post office, but just my building was really bad at dealing with mail. So I voted in person, but masked offs, not crazy. But yeah, that's really, really fucked up. According to Nancy Pelosi, DeJoy said he had no intention of replacing them or mail collection boxes. Awesome. The Consolidation Appropriations Act of 2021 forgave the previous $10 billion loan. Let's give them another $10 billion loan. I want them to get a $10 billion loan every year, and then we forgive it the next year. And then we all clap and dance. March 2021, they launched a 10-year reform plan called Delivering for America, intended to improve their financial stability because we make them have 50 years of retirement benefits in advance. That's why they're financially unstable. That's why they're financially unstable. The plan includes $40 billion in investments meant to improve technology and facilities. They rank 43rd on the Fortune 500 list if it was a private company, and it would rank, if it was a private company, and it ranks 136 on the global Fortune 500 list. April 2022, the Postal Service Reform Act of 2022 was signed into law. It lifted financial burdens. Okay, good. Good. I'm fucking glad. It's about goddamn time. The financial burdens placed on the USPS by the 2006 Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act. Because that was crazy that we let that go on for that long. They also announced that it would slow deliveries of almost 1/3 of first-class packages as it sought to rely less on air transportation and find cost savings. And then 2023, they are the nation's second largest civilian employer. As of 2023, it employed 525,469 career employees and 115,000 non-career personnel, divided among offices, processing centers, and actual post offices. August 2024, they deployed the first new vehicles from their fleet modernization project at its Topeka Sorting and Delivery Center in Kansas, including an electric vehicle with higher clearance for routes delivering a high number of packages, and an electric vehicle produced in partnership with Canoe that is a pod-like smaller van. It's kind of ugly, but I like it. The fact that we're subsidizing the entire dairy industry but can't throw a little bit of change to USPS makes me feel insane. Literally. Like, that's exactly where I want my money going, is the United States Postal Service. Like I said, it's kind of ugly, but I like it. It's almost like when you aren't trying to break or undermine our systems, things actually worked well. Cheese caves, but no mail. No mail. Absolutely no mail. Look at them. Gorgina. I like it. It looks so cartoony, affectionate. It looks like it belongs in a Pixar movie. And then this is the van. I like it. It's kind of futuristic. I'm into it. Starting in 2026, all delivery truck purchases are scheduled to be electronic vehicles, partially in response to the criticism from the EPA. and also due to availability of funding provided by the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. The way this is kind of turning into like a campaign for the Democrats, because like you literally just watch the Republicans try to destroy the post office and then Democrats put it back together. And we all know I talk a lot of shit about the Democratic Party. I talk more shit about the Republican Party, but it seems pretty cut and dry on this one. So they gave them $3 billion for electric USPS vehicles, supporting the initiative by Postmaster General DeJoy and the Biden administration to add 66,000. Why do we still have DeJoy in there? Is he still the guy? He needs to be gone. Adding 66,000 more electric vehicles by 2028. Kamala would come on stage and be like, who likes packages? Kamala would come on stage. The who likes packages. I love Venn diagrams. That was one of my favorite things that she did. So yeah, they're starting to make EVs and they're going to be reduce carbon emissions by 40% from contracted service and emissions from contracted services by 20%. So they have environmental goals. So mail carriers in Chicago are demanding better pay. Where things stand is being kept behind closed doors, but the letter carriers want action on a number of items they say are long overdue. And Monday, dozens took to Federal Plaza to voice their concerns. The letter carriers say they're grossly underpaid. Starting pay is about $19 per hour, and the pay ceiling is about $36 per hour, about $10 lower than UPS drivers would get in their next deal. USPS is accused of retaliation and harassment after employees raised racism allegations. Oh, okay, let's get into it. And we're almost done. We have like 2 or 3 slides left, and then we'll play our game. Carla Thomas Vincent, a longtime USPS employee in Gainesville, Florida, has accused the Postal Service of retaliation and harassment after reporting racist incidents at her workplace. Vincent, who is African American, overheard 2 white coworkers using racial slurs in February 2023. After she complained, Vincent says she endured bullying, stalking, and intimidation from her supervisors. One coworker involved was fired while the other received a warning but later returned to supervise Vincent. Vincent also cited a past workplace incident where her manager exposed himself to her in 2014. Carla, you are going through it. What the fuck is going on? In Gainesville, it's Gainesville, Florida. I guess I'm not that surprised. You get a package. You get a package. That's what her boss said. That was offensive, but I just saw your chat was not about that, but it fit that, so I roped you into my sexual harassment joke, and I'm going to apologize for that, but it was pretty funny. Not the sexual harassment, but the pun. Ouch. I thought of it and I couldn't not say it. I'm sorry. Where was I? She filed a formal complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, but the case remains unsolved. What is there to... Just fire everyone. What is there to unsolve? What is there to solve? Other USPS workers corroborated her allegations of a hostile work environment. The USPS declined to comment on the case, which awaits a decision by an administrative judge. Oprah would never. USPS employee charged with attempted murder. Okay. 28-year-old employee is charged with second-degree attempted murder after allegedly shooting his supervisor multiple times at a St. Paul post office on Sunday. I feel like what it is people are like, oh, there's all these things that happen with the employees at the post office. But I think it's just a bias because the post office is one of the largest employers. So obviously stuff's going to happen there, you know? So, where was I? The incident occurred... the police found the victim with multiple gunshot wounds. Apparently, the guy had mental health issues, refused work tasks, and exhibited troubling behavior. He'd been employed by USPS since February 2024 and had Thursdays off for mental health appointments. He's now in custody. The victim is recovering from his injuries. USPS facing post office shutdowns and backlog of mail because of Hurricanes Helene and Milton. They say that 17 Bay Area post offices locations were closed as a result of Hurricanes Helene and Milton. I guess they literally mean like multiple Bay Areas, but they're scrambling to resume normal operations. They said that full recovery of service may stretch forward for some time. This is a map where USPS wants to change mail delivery times. Americans could see hours change significantly, update times to improve mail efficiency. I feel like that means we get less delivery hours, is what they're implying. The proposed operational change would modernize our ground transportation network to reflect changing customer needs, reduce costs to become financially self-sufficient, and provide more predictable and reliable service while maintaining our commitment to delivering first-class mail and USPS Ground Advantage to every household in the United States within 5 days, said a USPS fact sheet on the proposed changes. Those living in these regions would have their mail collected only at certain times to streamline drivers' deliveries and boost overall efficiency. Okay, so I guess they're saying they only do pickups a couple times a week or at specific times, but the delivery they're still all in. So, that's the mail. That is the mail. Wait, there's 137 slides? I thought there were 135 and I'm going crazy. Oh no, 139. We're almost done. I lied to you. Sorry.
This busy holiday season, the U.S. Postal Service has delivered more than 10 billion packages and pieces of mail. Takes a lot of workers and a lot of technology. So how does the post office deliver mail? Good question. Here's Heather Brown.
So it's 5 o'clock right now and you're still delivering mail.
Yes.
What time did you start this morning?
Started at 6 this morning.
Damn.
At the end of the day, Bernie Schroeder will have delivered to 500 homes.
Oh gosh, is it always like that?
This time of year, yes.
He and the other carriers leave the back of the Eagan post office each morning with full trucks.
This is where all the trucks come
Not
in.
23 hours. I think it's 5 p.m.
Dana Smith oversees the customer service.
When the carrier comes in the morning, they grab their packages.
Which
There's
they
a
then
Forever
sort by
21
address.
They get
USPS
all their
collab.
mail ready, and then they leave through that door.
The hundreds of letters Bernie will deliver that day have already been sorted the night before.
What we're doing at breaking down
This
letters,
is so
parcels,
cool.
labs, etc.
I'll show
At
you.
a 90-acre mail processing plant a few miles away in St. Paul.
So this building will run all night long.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
First, they flatten the pieces of mail that come from the trucks to the conveyor belt so they can be fed into this machine.
So this machine will flip the card in the right direction.
Correct.
It'll scan the zip code.
Correct.
It will also spray in orange an ID tag, and then will spray in black a barcode that holds all of the address's information.
How fast is this moving?
Fast.
Fast.
Roughly 32,000 an hour.
From there, the machine sorts the letters by location into 12 different bins. Those bins are then brought to other machines, which sort by zip code and finally individual address.
So what this machine does, it now sorts it by address.
Correct. And walk sequence for the carrier.
Which means the letters are now all in the right order for the carrier's route. At the same time, from above,
I like how
the
it's
barcodes
just
on
made for
packages
mail.
are being scanned too.
Each bin has its own post office.
Right. It could go to Northfield, it could go to Eagan, St. Paul, whatever. So we'll run all night, all the way until the morning, roughly about 3:45.
So this mail will be on trucks tomorrow morning.
Yep, be delivered tomorrow morning.
Where Bernie will be waiting.
This time of year, it's fun when you're delivering all the packages.
Heather Brown.
They're like, oh, yay, it's here. Thank you. You made my day.
WCCO.
That makes you feel good.
4 News.
That's cute. I love the postal workers. We mailed 4 packages with GPS
Our
trackers.
postal service workers, they promise to show up. But we've heard from you. Sometimes
Shout out
the
to my
big
homies
package
who also
from the
love
USPS
sorting things.
Takes a long time or
Imagine
sometimes
this
doesn't come at all.
pre-industrial
And with the holiday
revolution,
season
right?
On the horizon, we know you are worried. So our Courtney Robinson puts the USPS to the test.
Not me thinking they're actually reading every piece of mail to organize it.
started right here
I
in
always
our
wonder
kitchen
that
in St.
because, like, I have terrible fucking handwriting. And when I had to mail something recently, I was like, my handwriting's really bad. And she was like, it's fine. And I was like, are you sure?
Pete, we got the supplies, the tape, the classic first-class mail brown box, and the pricier Priority 2. We labeled them up, loaded them up, and added a GPS tracker. 4 trackers, 4 packages going to 2 cities, our friends across the state in Jacksonville and across the country in Seattle. We dropped at Tampa's main post office.
I love local news. They
How long
literally
would it
just do
take
side
and where would
quests.
our packages go? We could could see our packages move from the main post office to another USPS facility, the
I kind of want to
Package
do
Support
this.
Annex in Tampa. Inside, there are robots. And this new single induction package sorter.
Look at
which
us,
can
we know how to
process
mail
3,000
boxes.
parcels per hour. The Postal Service installed those ahead of a holiday season that will put them to the test. And our packages with those trackers were a test. Let's see how they did. USPS says regular first-class packages should be delivered within 5 days. Priority mail, 1 to 3 days.
Hello from Jacksonville. We got both packages.
Haley Harrison got both boxes in 40 hours. And both arrived at the exact same time, traveling a straight shot across the state. She popped them back in the mail to us. Yay, and we got the mail. It took 2 days to get the packages back from Haley coming from Jacksonville. Right here.
This is what I want to do for a living.
Boxes here that arrived in Seattle.
Across the country at our affiliate King 5, our buddy Chris Ingalls got the priority box first.
The B-roll of
Within a
mail
day and a
being
half.
carried.
Channel 10 have. Thank you very much.
The regular first class box wasn't far behind.
Excellent taping job, Florida.
It arrived within 2.5 days, and our tracker showed movement to facilities in Tampa, then a straight shot from Tampa International to SeaTac, a few stops along the way, and finally ending with Chris. All 4 packages making it to their destinations, all 4 faster than promised. But
They mailed
what
empty
about those who
boxes.
don't get their packages and don't have our GPS.
I mainly just wanted to see if their shit got there on time. New division.
The U.S. Postal Service is creating a new division specifically for mail-in ballots. The agency, which has already handled more than 40 million ballots for this year's midterms, says it's committed to the secure and timely delivery of election mail. For the 2020 election, the post office says it delivered more than 99% of ballots within 7 days. Good news.
Glad they're on top of it. What is this?
For centuries, the United States Postal Service provided every person in America with an affordable,
I'm gonna speed this up because I am
private,
curious.
and reliable way to communicate. It has become fundamental to the exercise of our constitutional rights. But recently, the Postal Service's financial struggles are being used as a pretext for making dramatic service cuts, including allowing mail to go undelivered for days and scaling back the hours of post offices. Basically, the Postmaster General is treating the USPS like a private business facing bankruptcy. But here's the thing, the U.S. Postal Service was never a business. In the earliest days of our nation, as new states emerged, one of the most crucial steps for newly established towns was to request a post office. These offices became vital for the exchange of information and ideas with the rest of the country. In fact, Congress mandated the Postal Service deliver newspapers for free or at a minimum cost across the land. But as you can imagine, the delivery of free newspapers and of mail to isolated frontier towns caused the Postal Service to lose money.
This is kind of
The
just
same
covering
thing-
what we just did. So I'm going to skip over this. Like I said, next week we're doing Jane Fonda. Last thing I want to look at is the Forever 21 USPS collab. Because that is literally cool as shit. And I just needed you all to see it. Oh my god, why did my screen just move like that? Did Joy jump scare? That is very, very cool. Okay, let's play our little game. Here, let me put it on the Halloween one. Okay. This is a game about what we talked about tonight. Why does my mouse keep doing that? This is a game about what we talked about tonight. It is just for funsies. I don't need a login. I don't need your money. I don't want anything of the sort. So the directions are on the screen, and let me put the link in the chat as well. I forgot I can't chat because I'm not logged in. So I'm sorry. I can't put the link in the chat, but it's really easy. You just go to join.nearpod.com. If anyone wants to put join.nearpod.com in the chat, that would be cool. I don't know how I'm logged into stream, but not logged into chat. Womp, 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 womp. The bag is very cute. That's what Andy Cohen said. Okay, here, let me put this back up. I'm going to close my other tabs. I do want to look up the robberies. This was like more history vibes than I wanted. I wanted more like anti-Republican vibes, but it was cool. It was interesting. Thank you. Thank you for sending the link. I appreciate you. God, you can hear my voice is like gone. What was I to say? I feel like my nose is kind of better, but my throat is still a little bit dry. I just realized I have to like rearrange some things, but it's fine. I wish I hadn't checked my phone because now I'm distracted. Like nothing's wrong. I'm just like something changed and now I have to change things and it's fine, but I wish I wasn't thinking about that right now. I'll give people a couple more seconds to join. I'm hungry. I want a snack. And why do I have 5 missed calls? It's an automated thing, and if you don't answer, they just call you again and again and again, and I think that's literally the most jarring thing ever, because they also don't leave voicemails. Okay, random. Oh, I need to stop checking things, because then I think about things, and then I think about work that I have to do. All right, I'm going to hit start on the game. You all look so cute in your little Halloween costumes. I'm not going to know the answers to any of these. I literally forgot multiple things, like, as we talked about it. If I had 5 missed calls, I would think someone is unalived. It's literally probably my district being like, we're having a reading competition. I don't know what phone service we use, but I think we need to rethink it. What does ZIP stand for in zip codes? Zone Improvement Plan. What was the main purpose of the Pony Express? My old apartment calls me whenever someone tries to buzz me in for the apartment I lived in 2018. That's hilarious. Today really just kind of sucked. Hopefully tomorrow's better. But I'm administering a standardized test tomorrow. So tomorrow will be boring, but honestly, I need that. I need a day of, like, silence. So that's honestly fine that I'm administering a standardized test, because literally I just need silence. All the year questions. I know, I gotta tell her to stop doing so many year questions. She's like big-brained and like genius. So she's like, it's so easy, it's just the year. And I'm like, but we're dumb, is the problem. I don't know how I did well in school. This is literally like a fight till the death. Sorry about it. Tough situation we're in here. I like how U.S. Poser Service is #1. That's pretty funny. Who is our current Postmaster General? I don't know. We don't like him, though. Yes, I did decide what to dress up for Halloween. So I already had, like, my real Halloween costume because me and my boyfriend are going to a Halloween party, and I'm going to not tell you that one. But it's, like, a couple costume, so I didn't want to wear that to school because that would be confusing. So, and I really didn't want to wear, like, anything annoying. So I got fairy wings, and I have a tiara, and I got some, like, face jewels and body glitter. And I'm just going to be a fairy princess, and I think I'll probably just wear, like, regular pants and, like a white shirt or something like that. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm mainly excited for the face glitter. Because I'm going to wear contacts, and I never wear contacts to school, and my students are always like, oh my god, whenever I wear contacts. Alrighty, singing, writing in first place, a Wawa parking lot in second, U.S. Poser Service third, USPS in fourth. 5 is a smiley face, a Postmaster parking lot, Shane CT, Vicky Malvison, Mail Eating Cows, Pink Pony Express, USPS parking lot, Lola, Token Man, Caitlin, Batty Mail Girl, Going Postal, Grace Poor, I Sort Mail by Hand, Mail Letters, Saturn Cat, Anthrax Survivor, What the Fuck, Matilda, Beagle, Finley, a Dutch Bros parking lot, a Quick Trippy parking lot, and TJ. That was a tough game. I gotta let her know to chill out with the years because we do not have the brain power for that. Memes, anything I missed, anything that you want to include. I'm only gonna stick around for a couple more moments because I am tired and I want a snack. I just remembered I have ice cream. And Pink Pony Express was amazing. Thank you for calling that out because they really were quite great. You're putting who in the mail? I don't think I get it. USPS, toss us your babies. No, we did not cover McCarthyism. We should have. Preppers soon. Ooh, that's a good idea. Like the history of doomsday prepping. I feel like it's very heavily influenced by the internet. The pony. Well, thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week for Jane Fonda. And on election night, we will be talking about Glee. I love you so much. Have a great rest of your night. And thank